Right. Hello everyone. Hope everybody is doing okay. This video is for just educational purposes because I have seen that people can't really understand what's going on with large language models, being the most popular one, ChatGPT. All right. Um, ChatGPT is just a language model, right? So it just knows how to talk, and that's all it knows. It doesn't know what's factual, what's real, and what's not. And this is like a common issue, and there are some technologies that have been emerging towards that problem to actually solve GPT's main faults, which in most cases are not being able to actually differentiate between factual things and things that are not just real, right? So this video is just about talking about those things. GPT is a really strong technology, like the language models themselves have been used widely in different case scenarios, but with the last viral boom that GPT got, language models have become mainstreamed. So it's important to actually educate people on this because it has, like any other technology, it has faults, it has like some advantages, some cons. So yeah, let's just get to it. I prepared just a brief presentation on how this video is going to like, let's just hit present. Yeah. So vector databases and large language models. It's are the main things, the main stuff that is going to be discussed on this video, all right? So this is going to be more like a technological approach on explaining how large language models work, how vector databases can actually improve the factuality on them by using a technique. Let's just say that it's a technique, some technique called augmented retrieval generation. All right, I'm just going to get deep on that, but let's just go around the basics. All right, so first of all, I'm gonna show you guys a two case scenario where where I am just asking ChatGPT a clinical question without context, and I'm going to compare it with the response where I give ChatGPT context. And I'm just gonna be using ChatGPT 3.5, which is the language model that it's used on the free tier of ChatGPT. But before I get into this, well, no, I could just explain it right away. So this is the 2K scenario. We have this chat and also this one. This is the question, the clinical question I made to ChatGPT without giving it any context at all. Act as a healthcare professional. Mention the main antibiotic that is used for treating post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis, if that's spelled correctly. Be short and concise. The main antibiotic is penicillin, and it is not. And it is not like a matter of what antibiotic is good or not. Like what I am presenting or what I am trying to give the spotlight is that GPT doesn't know. All right, GPT is just trained in a lot of data, and if the data is not like the best out there, it's not a surprise that its response won't be like as good, right? But if we give ChatGPT or the specific model GPT 3.5 some context, and I change the prompt a little, and I just write down act as a healthcare professional, that only answers based on the context given. Question: mention the main antibiotic that is used for treating post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis. Be short and concise. You can see this is the previous exact prompt I use on the first scenario, all right? And I give it context. The treatment of that focuses on the clinical symptoms of acute nephritis and is usually temporary, as clinical manifestation typically, and all that stuff. This is actually got from a clinical guideline. And you can see right here. You can see the DOI up here, maybe. I don't know if it's there. Well, maybe if you look up the title, you will find it on Google Scholar, or any other indexed clinical database like PubMed and all that stuff. But yeah, you can actually go and read the treatment part of post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis. And you can see that the text is just the same. The treatment of that focuses on the clinical symptoms of acute nephritis and is usually temporary. And then it just keeps talking about, like, it depends. You can treat any, you can't treat any post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis the same way. No, it depends on each patient. And I actually got like this small treatment section, this paragraph, something like until here, I believe. And based on that context, the response of ChatGPT actually improved. Based on the context given, antibiotics are not warranted in the treatment of that, as the acute infection has subsided by the time nephritis develops. Therefore, there is no main antibiotic used for treating that. Alright, so this, what I just did, is what some services try to actually implement on new language models by using a technique called augmented retrieval. So, which services are out there that provide this, like this context giving to actually get better responses? So, um, we went about the 2K scenario, and you saw how improved the ChatGPT's response was. So, what's a vector database? Vector databases are just like databases where you store data, but the data you are storing is text. Let's say it's just like a PDF, but it's called vector because it's vectorized. And what it means is that all the text that you had initially is turned into numbers and it's stored. It's just basically that. That's a vector database. And it just works the way that you are actually used to any other data search, because what you're used to normally is to just using Control F maybe, and then you can actually search for a keyword. Let's say, oh sorry, let's say vector. But the main disadvantage of this method of searching is that if you mess up just one word, sorry, one, let's say, letter, you can actually find what you're looking for, right? Well, vector databases can actually predict what was your initial query or consultation of the data that is stored there. So I didn't prepare like some kind of um, graphicalization or illustration on how to show this. But yeah, vector databases kind of know the semantic difference of words. So if you mess up into looking a word, it would actually fulfill your query. And it is not just that. Like you can actually ask in natural language, and the words that you're asking, let's say, how is my dog named? Let's say that those words will have numbers that are similar to an already saved text and an already vectorized text inside the vector database. So the vector database could actually be able to return the actual query you're asking it. Not in a way as ChatGPT because it won't answer like, hey, your dog's name is this. No, it will actually display what you looked for. That's something that's called semantic search, and there are plenty of videos out there explaining how semantic search works. So that's a vector database, and I mentioned the service called Pinecone because Pinecone mainly focuses on actually augmenting the response in terms of retrieval of large language models. So what is a large language model? Let's say it's just the popular name you hear everywhere now. That's AI, right? And artificial intelligence is just like a general name, but the specific name for ChatGPT and the technology behind it would be large language models, specifically the transformers technology. So, how does large language models work? Let me just check something real quick. Yeah, I was just checking that I was presenting my display. So, let's say that you are Jack, and if you are telling me, "Hello, my name is," I might be, if I knew you right away, I might be able to predict your next word. All right, so if you say, "Hello, my name is," and I already know that you are Jack, then I can predict for 99% of the times that you would say, "My name is Jack." All right. And let's say that it's me that I am telling you what my name is. Let's say that it's my name is Ale. So if I tell you, "Hello, my name is," and you already know me, then you would be probably sure that I would say Ale, right? That's how ChatGPT works. It takes all the words before you actually send that message and predicts the following words that would actually suit to a response. That's in a nutshell and briefly explain how ChatGPT and large language models work. So let's say in the third case scenario, I have Doug. Hello, my name is Doug. What would be the odds that you would actually say that? Well, we don't know, like as in paper, as a number, but we really like can conclude that dog is the less possible, the least possible predicted word right here. Ale and Jack will depend on the context. If I am Ale, then the most possible word would be Ale, and if I am Jack, then the most possible word would be Jack, and the least possible word would be dog. It's just simple math, probability, and all that stuff. It's not that simple really, but let's just keep it simple. So, what Pinecone does is like the thing that I was explaining before, alright? So, you get a query, let's say it's just the same question I did, what was the antibiotic for that disease? And let's say Pinecone, or I create a database in Pinecone with the same clinical practice guideline I used before. And and before I do a query to ChatGPT, I can embed the relevant information inside the database to my prompt automatically. So I could just ask directly, what is the best antibiotic for glomerulonephritis, post-streptococcal one? And Pinecone, before I ask ChatGPT, will embed the relevant text based on the words of my question. That way, we could actually like retrieve the chunk of text that mentioned treatment. So it would end up being a prompt similar to this. All right. So all this text that it's here that I manually wrote or copied here, it can actually get embedded by Pinecone inside the entire prompt. And I just had to ask. Let's say that I didn't ask about an antibiotic. Let's say that I asked for asthma um, pharmacological um, management. Pinecone would actually detect that I am speaking about asthma, and the word asthma will have a different vector, so it will give the corresponding context to that question and embed the relevant information of that question inside the current prompt. This is powerful because it actually kind of solves, not entirely, because that's something that we will speak about later on. It doesn't like solves the entire factuality problem in large language models. It doesn't, right? But it gets close to it. And probably I will be uploading videos around benchmarking this stuff, specifically on the medical field, because medical practice or clinical practice itself is based mainly on doing what the guidelines say. Said as a simple way, all right? It's not that simple. Medical practice is actually really complex, but my next videos will probably focus on how to implement this technique called augmented retrieval generation using like updated guidelines to actually give ChatGPT or GPT itself a sense of factuality related to what is done currently in the medical ambient. So yeah, that's the video. It was just about that, just like an introduction of future videos I will be doing. Probably it won't get like the attention my previous videos got, but yeah, something necessary. People need to understand this. People need to understand that even if GPT can output false data, can make up data, there are out there current solutions to this current problem. And I believe this is really relevant, at least for the medical scenario, because medicine is determined by what the evidence say, by what is said in the evidence. Sorry. So yeah, leave any comments you would like. So yeah, let me know what you think, and maybe sharing this to actual colleagues that are maybe interested on the possible applications of GPT in healthcare. So yeah, thank you guys. Bye.